How we doing? Welcome
Right.
back.
I,
I just,
oh, that's good. There we are.
talking to the viewers
I thought you
slash
were talking to me.
listeners.
My mistake. Sorry, don't let me interrupt.
No, I haven't introduced you yet, Al.
Yeah, I know it's not my turn.
Welcome back to Send Him Off. Episode 2 of our new brand spanking relaunch series, which look exactly the same as it did. It's just twice a month instead of 4 times.
Because we're lazy.
We're busy.
We're busy.
We're busy.
Busy.
Yes, and well, quality over quantity, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
So we've been told.
yeah, welcome. If you're first timers, my name is Sam. Joining me as always is my ever present podcasting partner, Al. How's your week been?
It's only Tuesday, innit? But it's going all right. Another hat trick for Haaland. We're going to start it
Yes.
off with that. I think it's only fair, but it's been all right. It's been all right. Another week of goals, to be honest with you.
Yeah, plenty of them. Bournemouth Everton 3-2, wasn't it?
Yeah. What's going on there? What is going on with Everton?
I think this is the year.
Do you think so?
Yeah, they remind me of Swansea when we went down. Like,
There's nothing. I last year I thought they were going to go down because I thought they were teams that there were more teams better than worse to them. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
This year, I don't know. I think this year
There's
it
nothing
could
to
be.
them. There's absolutely nothing to them.
They
It's the
are a
same. It's the
championship
same as
side.
us. They've just like teetered on the edge for years, months, seasons, or however long. you know,
It's not a good start
since
from either.
Ancelotti left, really.
Yeah, that was it.
And even then, he papered over the cracks. I think, to be honest with you, but they look like they're.
I don't even know where to start with them. To be honest with you,
I was going to say
wouldn't
they're
even know.
sleepwalking towards it, but they're flat out plummeting towards it, aren't they? Really?
They're already there. They're
Yeah.
literally already there. I honestly have no idea how they didn't go down last year.
Yeah.
But
Well, purely because there was worse teams than them, I think.
I don't think there was. I don't think there was.
Well, over 38 games, there were, obviously.
Well, all right, yeah, if we're being technical about it, then yeah, but I think Sean Dyche coming in, that was inspired. He dragged them out of that drop zone because they
he
had
did.
how many points did they have deducted?
Oh,
I want to say
12?
I think I was going to say 10 or 12. I can't
10,
remember.
maybe?
I don't know. But still, I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it because I'm going to end up making myself like a bit of a pleb. Because
like you did when,
yeah,
in the
they'll end up
last
winning the
episode
league.
where you said that we'd beat
We'll
Cardiff.
beat Cardiff and we drew. To be fair,
We didn't lose.
we didn't lose, and we
didn't
were
lose.
winning.
And
But,
all we needed to do, I kept saying, don't lose. Just don't lose.
It's important not to lose that derby. But I was there. I was we were both there.
We were.
And then
both
I went
there.
away to West Brom and we got
You
spanked
did,
up
and
there.
I'm very
We
glad
got
I
spanked
didn't.
1-0.
I'm very glad I didn't go.
It was a bit of a waste of time in all honesty. But there we go. Never mind.
Have you
That's
ever
the
had a good
Swans
trip
for
to
you.
West Brom? I don't think you
I've
have, have you?
My first ever time to West Brom, I was 15 and it was my first ever away game and we won 3-0. Ben Davies scored, Pablo Hernandez scored, and I can't remember who else scored. Doesn't matter now anyway. Could have been De Guzman. But yeah, that was the last time. 10 years ago, nearly 11 years ago.
There we are. Don't go to West Brom, ladies and
Don't
gents.
bother going to West Brom. That's the moral of the story.
It is. End of the summer, end of the transfer window.
Thank goodness.
And well, yeah. If we're talking Premier League, winners and losers, who are you saying?
What in terms of who's at the best window?
Yeah, winners and losers of the transfer window.
There we go. Winners. I think, to be honest with you, how City have managed to get away with those sort of accusations, fines, whatever you want to call them, how they haven't been dug out for them yet. Yeah, that's, I take that if I was them. Losers, I don't know how people are going to take this one, but I'm going to go with Chelsea.
Are you? I thought you might, and I think I disagree.
Are you? Right.
Yeah, I think I disagree for now.
Okay.
I'm reserving judgment on Chelsea just until probably about Christmas.
What are you
I don't like the transfer model. Like, I think
neither do I.
Last week, or 2 weeks ago, it's horrific the amount of players they've got, and they've had to ship out players like Conor Gallagher and Chalobah, who are like academy products for just these players who, I mean, they're selling players. I've been seeing like Fabrizio Romano tweeting Chelsea selling this guy. I've never heard of them.
No, yeah, I know.
I didn't even know they were a player.
The reason I didn't know they were a player.
I didn't.
The reason I consider Chelsea to be losers is, pretty much, their transfer model and what they've gone for. I think they're going to end up in the same pickle as City because what they're doing, they're buying these players, they're having them on. We've discussed this millions of times. They're having them on the 7-year deals. But what Todd Bowley's doing now is he's selling his players to himself. So he's taking them from Chelsea and he's selling them off to like some other club he owns. I don't know when, like in America or somewhere like or in Germany. I don't know where the clubs are.
Yeah.
But there's only a certain amount of time before he gets found out for that. And it's obvious to people like you and me who are not in that world. So the people who are like in charge of like financial fair play, it's going to be screaming them in the face. So I can't see how he's going to get away with that for so long. So that's why I said Chelsea. I think they're potential losers, big losers in the future.
I think for me, the biggest losers, Everton, for reasons we've spoken about. They just haven't really brought anybody in. But I don't know. Brighton, for me, up there as winners. I think they've had a very good window.
They have.
New manager as well. He's like 32, isn't he? He's younger than some of the squad. I think he's younger than Welbeck and Milner.
Everyone's younger than Milner.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I think Liverpool have had a really good summer.
I
know they haven't signed many people, but I mean they've got.
They have signed.
Chiesa for not very much. I think Mamadou is coming next year, isn't he? I think he's still on loan somewhere.
Who they've kept as well. I think keeping Salah for another year, that was quite big.
And like I was discussing this yesterday, and like losing Salah on a free next year. How much would they have got for Salah this summer, really, realistically? Maybe a little bit more if he went to Saudi. And if they sell him in January, not a lot. Because you'll have 6 months and he's in his 30s. I think he's worth more to keep for another year and lose for free.
And I do.
Than to lose. I don't think there's no one in the market at the moment for the price that they would have lost Salah for, which, you know, with the 30-plus-year-old in the last year of his contract, they aren't going to recoup that sort of quality for that sort of money. And I
don't think, though, like, for me, I don't think the average Liverpool fan should care. I don't think they should care because they talk about, we need to reinvest the money we get for Salah. No, they don't because they've got plenty of money. It's like they're buying Chiesa, they've bought, whoever. They could go out and buy whoever they want. They're not short of money, Liverpool. Yeah. It doesn't matter. That money is purely for, the people higher up who need to bother about it. For the average Liverpool fan.
I think he's priceless though.
Yeah, for the fans and, in terms of actually winning the league or winning a cup or winning whatever, priceless.
Yeah, but I agree. I think Arne Slot looks really, really good as well. Like exceptional.
Yeah, we weren't sure, were we? We weren't sure what he was going to do, but I think they've pulled that one out of the bag.
I think the reason I wasn't sure, and I mean this with all due respect, and they absolutely hammered his side on Sunday, was Erik ten Hag. Like he's the type of guy who, I mean, you're looking at bald Dutchman from the Dutch league.
Yeah, forgive you for assuming.
Yeah, but he's in a fairly similar mold. Maybe not play styles, but in terms of like experience, sure. And like Ten Hag is winning titles there, and doing all right in the Champions League as well. I think for the most part, and then as completely.
But I don't think it's his fault.
No, the club is broken. It's what Mourinho said years ago.
Exactly.
It hasn't been fixed. But
if you were to swap those two round now, Erik ten Hag at Liverpool and Arne Slot at Man United, Erik ten Hag would look like a genius, and then Arne Slot would be the meme. He'd be the meme.
The biggest, it was a telltale sign for me when Mourinho came in and failed. Basically, I know he won a Europa League, but in terms of his standards, he failed. They win a league title, right?
He came second.
Yeah. Which with that squad, incredible.
Yeah. But we're saying that he had Pogba, Ibrahimovic, he had De Gea. He had a good side, but I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
Maybe not with the squad, with the infrastructure, with the club. Yeah. He was given. I don't know. Once he started calling it out, there were alarm bells. But the one for me was Ralf Rangnick. And everyone was slagging him off, saying, no, he's not great and all that. I mean, we saw he was great. I know they didn't go very far, but he looked great with Austria in the Euros. He's a proven coach. Like, through a long 100%. Career. And,
So was Van Gaal, though. Louis Van Gaal was a very competent coach. Still is a very competent coach.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is like you said. It's
David Moyes. I mean, like
a very
look what he's
competent
done with
coach.
West Ham.
Exactly,
He
yeah.
did a brilliant job. It was time for him to move on in the summer, yeah. But I mean, it was a bit of a thankless job coming after Ferguson. The same way as Unai Emery suffered coming after Wenger, I think.
Mm.
But Arne Slot, and I know Klopp wasn't there for as long, but I'd say
he changed Liverpool
100%.
to what they
He's
are.
as beloved as
Yeah.
Wenger and Ferguson were
100%.
At Liverpool with the fans, and as important for them in terms of like a turnaround of their fortunes as well. And I think for Slot to come in and just hit the ground, I mean, they haven't conceded a goal.
Yeah,
I know it's only
3 out of 3
games,
yeah.
but
still, it's a good start. You can't argue with it. And they don't look like sloppy wins either. They look very solid.
Well, yeah, they hammered Man United,
but it's Man United in it.
But they beat Brentford well, as they beat Brentford the other day, and Brentford, they've won every other game other than the Liverpool game. They've won their other 2.
I wouldn't mind seeing Brentford do well this year either. So I don't think.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I've matured.
He's gonna say it, isn't he?
I've matured.
He's gonna say it. You're not gonna say it, though, are you?
Beg Brentford go down. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I'd quite like to see him do well. I kind of want them to do well post Ivan Toney.
Right. I think that whole thing was a bit of a palaver, wasn't it? Yeah, Ivan Toney. I don't really know what to say about it, if I'm being honest.
He's just, I don't get it. Yeah, it's the same, but it's happened a few times this week now. I know it's happened like loads over the last few years and stuff, but Steven Bergwijn's gone, and I don't know if you saw today where Ronald Koeman, the national coach of the Netherlands, called him out and basically said, "You're 26, you've got no ambition, you're chasing the money, and the door to the Netherlands is closed for you to the national team now until you come back to Europe." Basically,
I didn't see that.
I get. And if it was England or Spain or France or Germany or Italy, I'd probably say, I get it. But at what point do we start to admit now that leagues like the Saudi League are more competitive than the Dutch League at a higher level because these players are going out there? Like, you know what I mean?
I'll ask you this question then, right? If we talk about like Saudi League compared to like the Eredivisie or like perhaps even the Swedish League, the Danish League, whatever. If you were to go out and scout a Danish national player in the Danish League or like a Dutch player in the Eredivisie or even the second tier of Dutch football, what level of quality are you getting from that Dutch player in comparison to a national Saudi player? You had to make your mic to cough there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I can't see that Saudi player. With all due respect to every Saudi Arabian.
But the infrastructure's not there. So this is why 15 years ago you would have said that about the USA.
And I still, well, actually...
No, I think they got a good batch of young players coming through. And that's because players like Beckham went to the MLS when they did. Beckham, Henry, David Villa, Pirlo, Kaka.
Yeah, but their structure was totally different to what Saudi. They've got a price cap on like their top earners, so they're not enticing the players over at their prime. Which there is an argument for. I understand.
But arguably, if we're talking morally or whatever, get out the window. Yeah, talking about infrastructure and young players,
you'd want your prime players to go. Yes,
surely that board's even better.
I understand that, and that's fair enough. However, my thinking was like the experience that Beckham brought. He already knew everything. He kind of fell in love with America, blah, blah, blah. So did Thierry Henry. He ended up being a coach there. Yeah. I can't see Ronaldo staying in Saudi Arabia. I can't see Jordan Henderson staying there after he's finished playing. Oh, well, there we go.
In Ajax now, isn't he?
There we go.
Lasted all of 5 minutes out there. I don't even think he got paid a penny.
Did he not?
No, I think he pretty much jumped ship as soon as he could.
I missed that one altogether.
That was in like January bid. Could tell we weren't podding.
Yeah, I know. I was not bothered whatsoever. But that's my only gripe with it. I can't see them. They're not going to stay in Saudi. They're just going to pick up the money, and when they're done, they're just going to come straight back. That's the issue for me.
It frustrates me, like ambition-wise. Like Tony is.
He could have gone to and don't get me wrong. We literally 5 minutes ago slated United, but he could have gone to. He could have gone to Arsenal.
He's a great fit for Arsenal, personally.
Yeah, I was
even Spurs had they not gone in for Solanke. Another option from Chelsea. But
Chelsea,
it's the same as...
may as well have gone there, really.
Victor Osimhen. I mean...
Where's he gone? I didn't...
Galatasaray on loan.
How did that go so wrong for him?
I know. And there's no disrespect to Galatasaray, right? Great club, famous club. And to be honest, a league that's probably on the up. Given that Mourinho's there now. A lot of young Turkish players coming through, as we'll see this Friday
on Friday night, yeah.
Cardiff City Stadium when Wales play Turkey. But it's just a weird one in there. Like left Napoli, well, he's on loan, so
I think he'll come back. Obviously, I don't know where he'll go from
there. There's a release clause, I think, that was reported today, so we'll see. But Chelsea were like in, Saudi club were in. I just don't get how it's gone so wrong.
Maybe it hasn't. Maybe this is exactly what he wanted. And having seen what Chelsea had done, if I was Victor Osimhen, I'd be thinking, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I going to get a space on that massage bed? Am I going to, And if my other option, where did you say? Saudi?
Yeah, it was somewhere in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. For me, it'd be the heat. I just couldn't stick the heat more than anything.
I think the £5 million contract could probably entice
that would probably turn my head slightly, but
probably.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a strange one though, but I mean, with these Saudi players now, it's just...
You couldn't have sounded more... Oh, with these Saudi players though.
No, with the players going over to Saudi Arabia, it's just...
I thought it would be a bit of a fad. I really thought it would be a fad.
And I'm slightly like thinking, oh, it's gonna get bigger.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be like China.
And I did, or Russia. Remember when like Russia took over?
Yeah, but China had like a wage cap and stuff, didn't they? Eventually, I think.
They had to implement that.
Yeah, but I just can't see that ever happening in Saudi Arabia.
They got way too much money for that.
Yeah,
and they got too much. They're buying into like WWE and stuff. So this goes beyond football.
On a flip side, though, if they create a competitive league outside of
Europe, it can only be good for football.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's problems are like the morality of it, and we're not talking about that because we're a football podcast.
We can't do that.
From a purely
from a football point of
purely from a football perspective, surely creating another competitive league outside of Europe can't be that bad of a thing. My worry is, when will they be invited into the Champions League?
And that can't happen.
Because it will.
I'd be very glad to see... The thing is, we're going to run over time here. Anyway, we'll talk about this and then we'll bring in our guest. But my issue is with the Saudi league, how many of the Saudi players, the Saudi stars, will be Saudi?
Yeah.
Very, very few. So it'll all be imports, which you could argue the Premier League is anyway, and other leagues.
There's still like the grassroots rules and
because there's so much, like Thierry Henry, Arsene Wenger said about Africa, there's so much untapped talent in the whole continent of Africa. It's exactly the same in like the Persian area, there's the Arabic area of the world. There's so many good footballers, male and female, but again, we're not going to get into that. But there's so many there, and I just worry with all the imports coming in, how many of them are going to get a shot? Yeah, with the league being that good.
It's a fair point, actually. I haven't actually considered that, like how the league might be getting bigger, but 4 years ago, those teams were stacked with homegrown players, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And it was all full of them, and now that you probably won't see any of them.
And ironically, the domestic league might get bigger, but the national team quality
might diminish
until I suppose on the flip side, that infrastructure and the young players and the grassroots come through, which is what I think we're seeing the fruits of in America now. But they always had their homegrown players in America, but I think we're seeing the fruits of it now with the youngsters.
The MLS has been around for many years. They've been doing it since they think they changed the penalty structure back in the 90s. And that didn't work, but that league's been going for a while, and it wasn't until, like you said, David Beckham and we've really started seeing it. But there we are.
It's an interesting one. I didn't expect to a bit of debate today. This is like
that was quite intellectual, actually, wasn't it?
Serious podcasting for once. Like,
I know.
Flipping heck.
I know. I feel about it.
Have a year off, and we like questions.
We're smoking a pipe next.
I know. Well, should we have a break?
Yeah.
Go on. Have an advert, and then we'll get a guest on. Ta-da. Hello, welcome back. Mark Rhodes is here.
Hey,
Welcome, Mark.
hey,
Thank you
how
for
you
coming
doing?
on.
Mark, you right?
Very well, thank you, lads. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. A legend of our childhood, I think.
Oh,
You are, yeah.
Yeah,
We were just having a little chat. I didn't want to say it, but I loved watching you growing up.
yeah, man.
thank you. Not only is that incredibly nice of you, but also makes me incredibly old. But that's okay. That is okay. Like, lads, I've got to say, because I was born in the 80s, and there are some people now who are born in like the early 2000s that can go to Vegas and just play on any game they want, you know. So yeah, it makes me a bit old, lads.
I
But
tell you what, though, I need to get your moisturizer because I wouldn't have said the 80s. I wouldn't have said it.
Stop
oh, it's
flirting with
very
the
kind.
guests.
81 as well. 81, mate. Yeah, yeah. I've got some serious lighting going on back here. There's some good lighting. Don't you worry about that.
4 ring light setup. um, right, let's kick off our what football means to me. We always do this, Mark. We do something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blues. We'll start off with something old, which is your favorite retired player.
Oh God. Well, for me, from the era that I grew up, it's got to be Steve Bull. I don't know how many of your listeners will know that guy, but he's the record goal scorer for Wolves. He scored 307 goals. Striker through the 90s. You know, when we were languishing in League Two now, and we bought him from our local rivals, West Brom, for about, I think it was about 15 pence and like a packet of crisps or something. And we bought him, and he was like this animal that wouldn't stop scoring. He scored like 50 goals in 2 seasons. We went up through the divisions into what is obviously now the Championship. It was Division Two then, and he didn't leave us. He had a lot of chances to leave. You know, it's not like it is now where, you know, it doesn't seem like there's any loyalty anymore, which is fine because the money's amazing. But Steve Bull, for me, like whenever I watched him, I always thought he could really do it at the top level. But unfortunately, other than playing for England and scoring a few goals, he unfortunately never did. So it's nice to actually him being there now, because like during my pop idol days, like 21 years ago, lads, whew, he used to come to the live shows and used to really support me. So God, he
That must have been a bit surreal for you,
oh
surely.
mate, they say never meet your heroes, but he's one of the good guys. So yeah, Steve Bull for me, I'd say.
What a
That,
wholesome start. I love it.
that's fantastic.
Oh, it
That
only
is
goes downhill
fantastic.
from here, lads.
We'll go in with something new now. So your favorite current player.
Favorite current player doesn't have to be Wolves, does it? Or
Doesn't have to
No,
be. Can be if you want.
at the moment.
Yeah. Slim pickings, baby.
Oh yeah. I've got to say, it's got to be Haaland, man. Like I've never
Yeah.
seen, because like for me, like I love strikers who they just know where the goal is. Like, and I know he's like, you know, he ain't Messi or Ronaldo when it comes to, you know, how he plays the game, but he's so focused on scoring. Like he's like a fantasy football player's dream, and he's like every single week you're like, oh please, can we just triple captain him like every single week to
Yeah.
get like 1,000 points? Because he's incredible. That like the way he knows how to score, and I think we're just so lucky to have him in the Premier League, because I reckon in a couple of seasons Real Madrid are going to come sniffing,
Mm.
and City will be in the Vauxhall Conference. So like you know, he'll be off to Madrid soon, lads. So let's enjoy him while he's here.
Yeah, 100%. He's crazy, isn't he? It's mental.
I was thinking I don't know whether Pep will stay at City for as long as he will. I don't know, but I think I can see Pep sort of doing a little deal, shipping him off to Barcelona, and then they'll just take off, win everything.
It would be lovely that though, wouldn't it?
Would
Imagine
be.
Pep went back there as well. Oh,
Can
oh,
you imagine?
oh, it'd be like a Spielberg script. Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Something
Haaland for me every time.
something borrowed. So this is specific for Wolves. Your favorite ever loaned player. They say don't fall in love with a loan player, but
Oh my God. Who have we loaned that? Oh, well, oh my God. Well, we bought him in the end, but Raul Jimenez. Raul Jimenez was a
yeah,
loaned like he was a loan signing, and I was like, oh my God, please say that we can buy this guy at the end because lads, I know I was talking about Bully, but Raul Jimenez for me did it at the top level.
Yeah.
So like we had a loan agreement. Yeah, I remember. I think he had to play a certain amount of games or a certain amount of minutes. I was like this, like just don't because he was amazing in our first few seasons. Obviously, before he had his horrendous injury at Arsenal, he was a loaned player, and I think he scored like 13 goals for us when we got into Europe. And I was like, can we keep him, please?
Where was he on loan from?
Where was he on loan from? That is a great question.
I've put you on the spot now, haven't I? Sorry.
No, you haven't.
Benfica.
It was Benfica. Yes, thank you. Thank you for being a baller. Edit this so it makes me look. It was Benfica, lad.
100%. Yeah. Great shout, man. Great shout.
Yeah, cool. And he didn't pull up too many trees at Benfica, and it was like one of them signings where you just think, oh, okay, that's not too bad. But there was just something about him, like he had a bit more skill than what people gave him credit for, and as a loan signing, like. Benfica obviously knew that we were gonna, trigger the loan afterwards. But my God, like that first season, he was like gold dust to us. He put us into Europe pretty much. Well, as well as Neves, Matinho,
the Portuguese lot,
yeah, they were decent as well. But the loan signing goes, Raul Jimenez for me, definitely.
Yeah, never fall in love with a loan player unless you buy them after. And
100%.
That's the way to do it.
Wise words. Right, finally, something blue. So the player you were saddest to see leave your club. And again, this is Wolves.
Oh, man. You know what? I think it was Robbie Keane. Because he moved to Coventry City. It wasn't as if he was going to
I'm
Real
obsessed
Madrid.
with the way you said Coventry City, but the accent was superb.
At the time, mate, it was kind of like Coventry were obviously they were in the top division and stuff, and like you look where we are now as clubs, and I think we sold him for like it was around about 5 million, I think, and at the time that was amazing money. And obviously we were in the Championship then, so we needed the money, but. What you moving to Coventry for? Like no disrespect to Coventry, but like, aim a little bit higher, Robbie. Do you know what I mean?
Have you ever been to Coventry?
Oh yeah, well it's the West Midlands, so yeah, I've been a few times. And like nothing against the city, and also the pedigree, like winning the FA Cup, like that. They're a good team, but. I just felt it was like a sideways move. And for me, like, it felt as though he went, I'm not going to say for the money, but he obviously went to play in a higher division rather than going to a better team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that hurt a little bit because it was coming to the end of Bully's career. And to have them play together in their prime would have been just, mwah. But... It wasn't to be, unfortunately. So Robbie Keane leave. I'm calling him Robbie like he's my best mate. But like him moving, really, it felt like a hammer blow to a lot of fans. So that was mine, I think.
Fair enough. So that's quick fires out of the way. So we'll take it right back to the start now. So we're talking early football memories. What is the first thing you can sort of remember of when you fell in love with the game?
You know what? It's really interesting you say that because I remember falling in love with the game at the 1990 World Cup. Now, I was 9 then, right? And it was probably the first World Cup that I can remember. And it was just magical because, like, as an England fan, we don't win. and we didn't have a great squad, and Bully Steve Bull, like he was a third division player. This is why I remember it so well, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It didn't happen. Like Bobby Robson like took Steve Bull like as a squad player to the World Cup in Italy in 1990, and it was amazing. It was just a brilliant time. And as a 9-year-old, seeing all the Wolves fans watching it in the pubs, that was my first memory. And also when God, I'm saying some old stuff here, lads. Like you might be like looking at me like going, "Who is this guy? What is he on earth is he talking about?" But when David Platt scored, I remember this was the memory. David Platt scored this absolute worldie against Belgium in the second round, and Bully was on the pitch, and he gave him a big hug, and you see Gary Lineker was just going like that, and then it's like the last minute of extra time, and like I'm going, oh my God, this is football, and then obviously we go and lose in the semi-finals to West Germany at the time, and now I'm also saying to myself, this is football.
That's football.
So that's that for me. 1990 World Cup, 100%.
Iconic as well. What a great first one. What a great first memory.
Yeah, it was incredible, actually.
You're talking about, this is football. What is your biggest high as a football fan?
Oh, my biggest high, easy. Playoff final, Wolves against Sheffield United at the iconic Millennium Stadium, 2003, 2004. We got to the playoff final after years of trying. I was very fortunate enough to get a ticket. And we were right next to the Sheffield United fans. And you know what? Looking back, I do feel a little bit sorry for them because you start the game and I think we were 3-0 up in 35 minutes or something. Oof. And you're looking over to them. And obviously it was delirium for us. Like Wolves hadn't been at the time in the top flight for like 30 years. So for me, I'd never seen them in the top flight. So for me, it was like, oh my God, we're going to be in the Premier League. And for the Sheffield United fans, you look over and they are like crying.
Yeah.
They just cry, because it's literally ruined their day, hasn't it? 35 minutes, you're 3-0 down. Like, I don't care how good you are, it's going to take some doing. We tried in the second half, because they had a penalty and Matt Murray saved it. But that for me, that I can't even recreate that. That is like why you are a football fan. Like that intense rush of, I would imagine Man City fans are bored of it now. Do you know what I mean? Like that type, another League Cup, another FA Cup, another bored. But as a Wolves fan, like the playoff final, that was our mecca. That was like we needed to get to the Premier League, and like obviously we went down the following season, but that's by the by.
That's not important. Don't talk about that.
That's not important. You got to get there first, didn't you? And that for me, good God, like if I could bottle that emotion up and have a drink of it every single day, then I'd not only be very drunk, but I'll be very happy.
Great answer. That's a great answer.
All right, we're going to snap you right out of it now, Mark.
Yeah, not to lower the tone or anything, but you can see what's coming.
What's the lowest point? You mentioned you went down the year after. Is it that, or is there something even worse?
I don't think it was worse because I think we actually knew that the following season we hadn't spent any money. We got Paul Ince out of retirement. Dennis Irwin played for us, when he was about 110, and these players, they were obviously that they were past it. So to play in the Premier League, they were so slow. But we didn't buy anyone. What did we do? We did what a lot of teams try and scrimp through the first season, get the payment, and then
and then go for it.
It didn't happen. Absolutely didn't. So we went straight back down. But that isn't the worst. My worst feeling as a Wolves fan is without question the Wembley semi-final against Watford a couple of seasons ago. We were 2-0 up with 12 minutes left, and we were going to go to the final and play Man City. And I was there behind the goal, and Watford scored. And as football fans, you just know what's coming.
Yeah.
You knew what was coming, and then they scored again, and then they scored again. and it was just you could just sense it as a Wolves fan. And I got back on the tube. I left, and I never leave. I never leave. Like, but like your just heart is broken. Like my heart had actually broken, and I can't even remember getting home because I was just on the tube and I was just wandering aimlessly. like it was horrible, and that's what football does to you. Like the highs of, say, like the playoff final and all that stuff. I was the Sheffield United fan at that time. Just nothing. Nobody could tell me, like, because my wife, she's not a huge a football fan in general. And I walk in and it's like somebody shot my dog. Like, like I'm walking up the stairs and my wife's going, "What's wrong with you?" And I went, "What's wrong with me? Do you know where I've been? Do you know? Have you seen the TV?" And it's like, "What do you mean? Have I seen the TV?" Like, this is like the biggest news.
Do you know what's so funny? What's so funny to me is if you told me 15 years ago when I was watching you on Saturday morning TV that you could come off from the Wembley final or semi-final as if somebody had shot your dog, I would never in a million years would I have believed anyone.
Hey mate, that's what football does to you. It's a fickle beast. It is.
It really is.
There's nothing worse, is there? When you know we're like, so we're Swansea fans. We played Cardiff last week, and we were 1-0 up after about a half hour, 25 minutes,
something like that. Yeah,
not long. And then they scored about 78 minutes or so in. And I turned to Alex and I went, "They're going to score again." And they didn't in the end. But Alex turned to me and went, "I'd have to leave." And I went, "You never leave."
Yeah.
And he was like,
No,
I'd have to go. Like, I've left a couple of times. Like, I'll admit.
I know, I get it. I understand, especially because, like local rivalry, that hits different. Like, I suppose Swansea and Cardiff, that is a different beast altogether as well, isn't it?
It's quite a nasty one. It is quite a nasty one.
Yeah, because that, like, let's be honest, they're the two biggest Welsh teams in the country, aren't they? And and you've seen how well they've done and how, being in the Premier League as well. Like, both of those teams have really, really stood out and done incredibly well.
Let's not emphasise both.
Only one team stayed up more than one season.
Oh, fair. All right. See, whoa, stirring the pot. No, obviously Swansea.
Yeah,
obviously, goes without saying, lads. But like Welsh football in general, like, you look at those. Okay, Swansea and the other one. You just got to say, like, you've done really, really well as teams.
Yeah, it's horrible now. Just on that semi-final though, because Watford got pumped, didn't they, in the final? Did that make it worse?
6-0.
That they got absolutely pumped. Did it make it worse?
Yeah. You know why? Because I honestly think just the way we played and like how, and we gave City 2 really good games in the league that season, and we beat them. And like, you look at Watford, like, that's the problem, because we were actually the favourites going into that semi-final. It's not like we were huge underdogs. We were expected to win, and that's what hurt probably more than being in the semi-final with, say, a Liverpool or United, where you're expected, give them a good game, but you're expected to lose. We weren't, and that's what hurt like so much more. And we would have given City a better game. We would have.
We love a little what if. Like, I think that I do, I think that season, that actually, Al, was the one that we've got a bit of a what if for Swansea.
Yeah.
It's the season we were 2-0 up against Man City in the
don't talk to me about that one. Don't talk to me about that one.
Robbed by an offside goal. And all our fans say, well, it would have been Wolves or Watford probably in the final. And like, compared to City, that's a nicer final. Like,
yeah, there's no comparison really.
Yeah, so that we've got our own, but like, we love a little what if. Like Euro 2016, what if Ramsey and Davis weren't suspended for that Portugal semi-final? We all think we would have won the whole thing if you ask anybody.
You know what? The way you were playing, you were like, well, in comparison to what England did that tournament, he might as well have been Messi and Ronaldo missing here.
You ask any Welshman, and they'll tell you that if those two players played against Portugal, we would have beaten France in the final as well. Anyone will tell you.
Let's not go mad, but I think you definitely would have given Portugal a hell of a game.
Any Welshman would disagree with you, Mark.
France.
There's 3 million of us. There's 3 million of us.
I hear.
Oh.
Right, moving on. I'm presuming you've been to 1 or 2 away days in your time as a Wolves fan.
I have, yes.
Which one has been your favourite?
Which one's been my favourite? My God. Oh, there's been a few. My favourite one. Oh, God. Portsmouth away. And I'll tell you for why. Fratton Park is one of my favourite grounds because it's like I don't know how many Portsmouth fans listen to your podcast, but they're going to listen to this one. But when we were in the same division as Portsmouth, it was staggering how cold it was there. Like the away stand it's like it was built with Lego. It was falling to bits. It was falling to bits. Like God knows how.
How long ago was this?
This was early 90s.
Oh, okay. I'm going there this year. I'm going there for New Year's.
It might be a little bit better now, but we went 2-1 down, I think, and we scored 2 in like 3 minutes at the end. And I'm not joking. I thought I was going to die because all the Wolves fans just went forward like this, like we were doing like some kind of Mexican wave because we scored. And I've never been so like I was hugging people I'd never met before, and that was amazing because we were on a bus, we were on a coach as well, and I remember just the brilliant atmosphere afterwards because
it's fab, isn't it?
Oh, it's the best. It really it's better than a home win. There's no question of that. Because like the camaraderie is there, isn't it? It's like you're all in it together type thing.
Yeah.
And I remember that because of how incredibly nervous I was actually sitting at the ground, thinking she's going to fall down.
That's great. I love.
That's one
I
for
love
you now
like
for
that.
New Year, Al.
Yeah,
you'll have to report back on whether Fratton Park is in a better state.
Is it still falling down? Is it still falling down?
I really hope so, lad. I've just got to sort it. It looks like my light is having a bit of an issue.
I genuinely thought there was a fire. On my life. I thought there was a fire going on.
I thought they were filming the new series of Stranger Things over there.
Yeah.
You come back with a bleeding nose now.
Yeah, I know.
That better.
That's all right. Yeah, I'm feeling less panicky now.
God, you're not the only one.
I thought it was a stroll warning at the start of this episode.
Yeah, I think we're okay now.
I was going to have a narcoleptic fit, man.
Narcoleptic?
What? No, that's the other one, isn't it? Sorry.
That's sleeping.
No, that's the sleeping one. Yeah, sorry. What's the other? Epileptic. Oh, that's great.
Sorry.
That's straight on TikTok. There we go.
You're really, really living up to your
there we go.
bio there, Alex.
Fantastic.
Alex was once described on one of our videos as Welsh guy, very unintelligent.
Very, yeah.
Who said that to you?
That was on the
commenter
on the flat chat on
yeah.
That was rather rude. I couldn't say it. There's nothing you can say. I've proved it. I've proven you. There's nothing you can say.
Fit, super.
You've got to lean into it.
Oh dear. Right. Let's get back on track. Mark, is there anything left on your football bucket list?
Oh God. For Wolves to win a trophy. That'd be nice. The last cup we won was the Sherpa Van Trophy in 1988. So
tell us all about that.
Oh well, I didn't go to that one because I was a bit young. But my my brother and I think my dad went as well. We played Burnley in the Sherpa Van Trophy. It's basically like the auto windscreen shield back in the day, like the third and fourth division teams.
Your Fruit Pastels Cup.
Absolutely, yes, one of them. And there was 80,000 people at Wembley for it.
Shut up.
Please Google it. Steve Bull played in the game, but didn't score. But that was our our first like silverware like for years and years. And I remember that. That's so I'd quite like us to win not another Sherpa Van Trophy, but even a League Cup, or because like the big teams don't take that seriously anymore. So they only come in at the quarterfinal stage.
I know.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous, isn't it?
They don't turn up, do they?
It's nonsense. But City will probably still win with their reserve team. But like the FA Cup for me, that's still big to me. And like for teams, I would imagine like Swansea and Wolves and all these teams are on the periphery of like big teams who remember the FA Cup as being like this incredible, like holy grail of competitions. I would love in my lifetime for us to get our hands on it, because it's like Leicester, Portsmouth, these teams have won the FA Cup. Like, why can't
Why
teams
can't
like that?
Wolves?
I think we've won it 3 times.
Oh, never mind then. I take it back. Sorry.
No, yeah, well, no, but like, oh god, this was back in the late 50s, 60s. This is what I'm talking about. Like, just
well, it's all right. Cardiff City are still celebrating theirs. It was in 1927, I think it was.
Yeah,
so,
they're hanging on to that one.
They still bang on about that.
It's like Villa when they talk about it. It's like, oh, we won the European Cup. It's like, yeah, when it was called the European Cup.
Yeah.
Forest, exactly the same with Forest, isn't it?
Calm down. yeah, Forest have won 2 of them. Like, calm yourself. But yeah, I'm only jealous. Because I want Wolves to just win anything. It would be nice. So that's my bucket list, I'd say.
Do like a little cup run. I like a little cup run. I don't know about you, Mark. My attitude towards a Swansea City Cup run changes depending on how our league season's doing. So if
it changes whether we're in the cup or not for me.
If we're doing really well, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love a cup run. And then we could be in the 3rd round playing like
Wycombe Wanderers, for example.
Whatever. If we're having a good season in the league, I'm like, just concentrate on the league, just lose on that. I don't care.
That for me is the difference to what a cup used to represent.
Yeah.
And what it does now.
Yeah.
And I completely understand with clubs, because financially cup runs don't do it for you anymore. It's league position and trying to get out of the league, isn't it? So I get it, but I completely agree with your point at the beginning, saying it depends on where you are in the league. For a team like Wolves, if we're struggling at the bottom end of the table of the Premier League, there is in no way whatsoever that we're playing our strongest team. A 4th round FA Cup tie against Brentford. Do you know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. So, but that's the difference now, I think, to even, I would say, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. There is a question on this list. I'm going to save it for Sam. So I'm going to ask you our poignant question.
Okay.
So we've got,
I love this one.
It gets the heartstrings going. What does the game mean to you?
It's a really, really good question.
Thank you.
The game means that I get to talk to my dad about something that we both love, and like speaking to your family and friends and bringing up stuff like that. Perfect example is if you've got somebody, as lads, I think we find it quite difficult to speak about stuff like when you're meeting new people, for example. I think football is the perfect icebreaker.
100%.
I think it's like if you've got nothing else to say, it's like, who you follow then? And then you have a chat about
kick it off,
and then it just switches then. I think it brings people together. Like, unfortunately, we have had situations where certain fans have pulled people apart because of how they view football and violence and stuff. But I think all in all, 99.9% of people who follow football do so to bring people together, and there's like this tribal love of just this one thing. Every Saturday at 3:00, well, as it used to be, you'd all go with 15,000-20,000 strangers and all pull in the same direction. And I think for me, that is incredibly powerful. You might not have anything else in common with the person next to you, but they've got the same shirt on as you, and they love that club as much as you do. And for me, I don't think it gets more powerful than that. That, like, football is the most powerful religion out there.
Wow.
Well said. Well said. And
Wow.
I didn't want to interrupt you in the middle
No,
of that.
I know.
It's gone very dark, and
Wow.
I'm going to sound like the voice from Beyond if I don't turn the light on.
Go on.
Yeah, I will. Not to spoil the moment or anything. But,
and I'll ask you my favorite question is this. There's two questions in one. So first of all, what's your football guilty pleasure?
Oh, there we go.
And then secondly, if you could banish anything to the football room 101, what would you get rid of from the game?
Oh, brilliant. So what was the first one? I'm so sorry. My memory's going. It happens when you're old like me.
Football guilty pleasure.
Football guilty pleasure. Oh, that's a really good one, that is. Guilty pleasure. I don't think guilty pleasure. Oh.
What have we had before? Because just to like sort of jog the memory.
Leeds a lot.
But a lot of people
that was when
Leeds.
Bielsa.
Yeah, that was when he was
when
there.
Bielsa was managing. Leeds was a very popular answer.
Oh, okay. All right then.
But we've also had people say the fish and chip shop down the that kind of, you know what I mean?
Okay, so like it can be as vague.
Or players that wear socks down by their ankles. That, you know.
Yeah. My guilty pleasure as a football fan is probably when you're watching like a cup game, and you are watching a Sunday League team, for example, in the FA Cup first round, on Match of the Day or something, and it's like Gateshead versus I don't know, Solihull Motors or whatever it is, and you watch that game and you know that those people playing on the pitch this is their cup final, right?
Yeah.
And I really get into those games, like more so than I do a Premier League game, because I know what it means to them. Like, you know, and I'm like, any underdog for me, that's my guilty pleasure. I want them to win. Obviously, if they're not playing against Wolves, any underdog, like whether in any sport, but especially football, you see like in cup competitions. That's why I love cup competitions so much, because any team can beat any team on that one game. And you know, it's not about 38 games in a season. It's about that one moment. It's about moments. And that's why cup football is so important to me. And that is definitely my guilty pleasure. Seeing a massive team get absolutely dicked by a lower league team. It's my absolute favourite.
I love it.
Oh,
yeah.
My inner child is just is so happy right
do you know what my recent football guilty pleasure is?
Good.
A good old hate watch. I love a good hate watch. Like,
what's a hate watch?
So I'll turn on the TV and I'll specifically watch like Cardiff, or like in the Euros I'll watch England, and really? I'll will them to lose. Like I'll be like, God, lose. There's nothing more powerful.
I've just discovered mine. I just as you were speaking, I know what mine is.
Good.
My guilty pleasure is when I'm watching a game from like abroad and the goalkeeper's wearing short sleeves.
Yes,
and that's it. Because like you very rarely see it.
For talking foreign football, the noise the Spanish fans make when the goal goes in.
Yeah.
It's not it's just a it's amazing.
And Brazilian commentators when they go, good.
Yeah. Or when you see in the like the slow down replay, and the player will say the word, and it's got to be this word. He says the word "vamos" but slow motion. When he says "more," there you're like, yeah, come on, I want it. Yeah.
Alternatively, really where you see a player in the Premier League tell someone to F off, and you can see like their accent.
This when they talk like this as well.
Yeah,
like, behind their hand, and it's
we've got a mate that does that in a club. He does that in a club.
Oh boys,
no word of a lie. He's like, oh boys, have you seen it? Oh my days, boys. No word of a lie. No word of a lie.
Check the VAR. What he's just said.
Shout out Miles.
Yeah.
Right.
I wasn't gonna laugh then.
I don't know where we are.
I think we got one more question
Room
left.
101.
One or two.
That's what it was, Mark.
Oh, sorry. Yes. No. My apologies.
Oh, Room 101.
What are you banning forever?
Ban. I hate it when players of a previous club play that club, score, and then pretend to apologise when they've scored.
Yeah.
It does my absolute nutting. It's like the other team is paying your wages now. You chose to leave. If you are that upset, don't play. Like when they start kissing the badge and go, "Oh, sorry, shut up, get on with your game, and play your game." And also foul throw-ins as well. That does my nutting. I'm sorry. Referees need to get on that because I'm sorry, 7-year-olds throw the ball.
They get pulled.
The Premier League teams.
The amount of foul throws I count every single weekend.
Yep.
Just watching the Swans, I'm there thinking this gets pulled up 100 times out of 100 on a Sunday league pitch.
100%. Yeah, I just don't understand it.
I'm sure they do to save their embarrassment now. They just don't. They just don't do it.
It is to save face. Yeah.
Yeah, this bloke's getting paid like 200 grand. Like, surely he could throw a football over his head. Like, nah, it's nuts.
I'm glad you said that one. Right, so out of all the footballing memories we've discussed today, which one has been your favourite? Not just today, but out of your whole time as a football fan, which is your most favourite sacred up there memory?
Oh, man. My favourite is probably, not to be boring, keep banging on about it, but the playoff final.
I thought it would be.
Against Sheffield United.
You can't beat it, can you?
It's like nothing that will. I don't think anything will get near it unless we do manage to get to a final, and play for an FA Cup or a League Cup or whatever. It just won't beat it because it was something that we'd not done for so long, and we achieved it. And to see like just all the Wolves fans just be so happy that. It just didn't happen in the 90s. So for it to happen in the early 2000s and for us to do what we've done going forward after a few patchy bits, but we're kind of like now an established Premier League club, and for a while that was all down to Jack Hayward, who was the chairman at the time, and he got us there. So yeah, that's something that I will hold dear for a long time.
Perfect.
So just to end it, Mark, put your neck on the line. Where do you reckon Wolves are going to finish this season? How do you reckon you're going to do?
I think there's a little bit of a false position at the moment. We lost two really important players, Pedro Neto and Max Kilman, for big money. And, we are trying to do what Brighton are doing, and that's sell big, buy cheap, in South America, that type of thing, and I think we've done all right. We've invested about 50 odd million. I think there are 3 teams worse than us in the division. I honestly do think that. I think the promoted teams are going to struggle this season. I think Everton are going to struggle, and I think we'll be above those 4 teams. So for me, I think we'll probably end up 15th, 16th, which I don't think is a disaster, but it's not ideal for where we want to be. We just need a good transfer window in January if we are struggling.
Yeah, it's not a disaster. It's not the end of the world. It's
I like it though, because you said 15th. If you finish higher, happy days.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm literally sitting on the fence, lads. Yeah,
it's a comfortable fence.
Yes, it is. It is a comfortable fence, and with like just a couple of cushions there.
Yeah, there's enough.
That's fine. Yeah. But we'll see.
There we are. What a way to wrap it up. Cheers, Mark. Thank you so much for joining us.
For coming on.
An absolute pleasure. It's been great, lads, and good luck with it all. You're doing a great job.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. And thanks, guys, for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, because we're every other week now, aren't we?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly, yes, we are.
There we go.
So we'll see you in 2 weeks.
And intelligent.
Enjoy. Take care. I want to say enjoy
bi-weekly.
The break.
That's how we're going to sign off.
Yeah, lovely.
Well done.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh, well, I think that's how we end it then. Ta-ra. Enjoy your international break. See you.